Good morning. How is everybody today? It's going to be a little chillier today. I have been joking with my partner that when we went to California, I think I soaked up enough sunlight for the next 20 years. And heat. Oh my God, the heat. I may have mentioned it, but I don't do heat well. And it's important. It's necessary. I know that we have to have all 4 seasons. I understand this. I do not enjoy summer nearly as much as I enjoy the other seasons. It's just me. But it's getting cooler, and I am so happy. I sat outside this morning with my blanket wrapped around me. I've got my house robe that I made last year, and my wool sweater, and my blanket wrapped around me, and I sat out on the porch, and I watched the sun kind of come up. I only sat out for probably about a half an hour, but it was the most amazing, wakeful, peaceful couple of moments. And then a truck pulled up and sat idling with his diesel fuel blowing my direction. Anyway, then I came inside. So today's card is Medicine of the Butterfly Kachina. And last time I went through the Earth Warriors Oracle, I remember seeing this card, but I can't remember what I talked about, what I ended up focusing on. But I remember the card, and I tried to go back through a little bit earlier, going back through all my old YouTube videos trying to find it, and I couldn't find it. So it must have been one of the Facebook Lives that never got loaded into YouTube. But I know that it has to do with transformation and loss and growth. And I know that when I pulled this card before, it was one of those cards that was I needed that. And I love the mandalas. I remember really sitting with this card quite a bit. I actually know that I carried this one around with me all that day because I remember having it at work at the time, and I was using it as a bookmark, and I forgot to bring it home for a couple weeks. And I just remember when I was really struggling with stuff, I would look at this card and the picture in this card, and it really gave me a lot of joy and a lot of blessing. Yes, Astra, I'm doing daily devotion. Okay, so this is what the book says. There are moments, I opened the book and then I didn't set it up to read it. There are moments when even those of us with great courage feel tested beyond our faith. Doubt, darkness, and despair can creep into our minds and lash our hearts with fear. Perhaps there seems to be a good reason for our pain: the loss of a loved one, a cherished hope dashed, disturbing human behavior, the state of environment, or some other unexpected painful shock. There may be no particular reason for it, and yet we are somehow gripped by feelings of anxiety or despair that we cannot resolve, no matter how hard we try. The healing soul medicine of the butterfly Kachina comes to you now to alleviate your suffering, to remind you that everything you have gone through has been part of what has made you strong, compassionate, and wise. When all seems lost, our soul needs the gift of seeing the light, love, and wisdom of Great Spirit that works behind all things, at all times, always reaching out always and offering love. The soul needs faith and hope like the body needs air to breathe. Faith keeps the soul alive as well. You do not have to regret anything that has happened. You do not have to judge yourself or any others. You have not missed out. You have not messed up. You've been learning and you've been growing. You may not fully realize it yet, but like a butterfly trying to crawl on the ground like a caterpillar, you may mourn the loss of your old caterpillar ways. Yet, if you take a moment to witness yourself now, you'll realize you are not the person from 2 years ago or from 10 years ago. You can then open up to the gifts of the butterfly Kachina to bringing into you now well-being, new life, vibrancy, freedom, and happiness. If you've been working hard on something or on yourself or a cause in the world, and it seems to go nowhere, Butterfly Kachina reminds you that the divine alchemy of transformation sometimes appears to be going backwards before it goes forwards. It's the way of things. After summer, there is autumn and then winter, all of which indicate progress towards the next spring. If you don't understand the creative purpose and regenerative nature of the seasons, you might be frightened by the winter. With knowledge of the sacred feminine wisdom of seasons, you are not afraid of winter. You see it as an essential part of life. You may even learn to nurture and restore yourself during that time and gain conscious benefit and appreciation. The soul unfolds according to the seasons, just as nature does. Let your mind and heart rest in trust that life is growing and your soul into its beautiful fulfillment. Sometimes I have a little bit of jumping eyeballs when I read. Sorry. I love that. It's really interesting that I pulled that card today because yesterday so I'm doing a new project. And well, it's not a new project. It's actually a project I started in 2020, and I kind of got sidetracked with other projects because it's something I have to sit and I have to embroider. And I love sitting and doing embroidery, but this is a big project. And I can look back now and I can recognize how I set it up was what caused me to stop doing it for 2 years. But I'm barreling through. I have an intention, I have a deadline, and I have a purpose. But yesterday, I have this other new project that's going to come up. And then I have the laundry list of other things that are on my project list. And yesterday was also one of those days where I went back and I opened up my old Notion account and I sat and I looked at all of the things that were on my Notion account. And I went, wow, I have quite a few things I haven't finished. And then, I've done that and done that and done that and done that. So it was kind of one of those, I kind of lost about 3 hours of my day kind of going into Notion and getting things reorganized and set up again. And as I'm doing it, I'm realizing that it's a Thursday and I didn't have any clients yesterday. And I started to worry. Oh my goodness, did I start to worry? And that was going on in the background the whole time I'm working on my embroidery project when I started working on the embroidery project. And I didn't realize how bad it was bothering me until I went to bed, and I could not go to sleep. I laid there and ironically, my mind wasn't worried so much about me not having clients yesterday. It was bouncing around. Like my brain was just bouncing like I had a yo-yo ball in my head. And I'm usually somebody who lays down and I do my meditation and I go to sleep. And I did my meditation. I couldn't focus on it. I kept having to restart it. And over and over and over, I would restart going up the steps. And finally, instead of doing that meditation, I did one of my fictional story, kind of like a D&D game kind of in my head. And I finally was able to go to sleep, but I woke up this morning really groggy and kind of cranky. And when I went outside and sat on the porch before I pulled this card, I was thinking to myself, you know what? The universe will bring me the exact amount of clients that I need at the right time. And I know that part of this time needs to be doing the organization and figuring out the methods that work, because when when my life really starts to kick off, I need to have all my ducks in a row, because this is different than every other time in my life, where every other time in my life, I've worked for someone else. And I have always put all of my talents in management, and my talents in working with people, and my talents of project management and organization and time management. And ironically, for me having ADHD, I have a lot of really good skills. And me being a teacher and being creative and artistic and all these things, I really have to get my methods down. I have to get what works. And I know that this trip to California and back again has been one of those testers. Like, how do I travel now in my life? What is the time I need for recovery? What is the time I need for prep and recovery? How do I make sure that I have time to do my art at the same time that I'm doing my readings and teaching? And Quantum Bloom is in the works, like all of these things, and my book. And I know, and I came to that place of peace this morning of, yesterday was a day to work on processes, and I did. I spent a chunk of the morning working on processes, really looking at some of the social media meta things and Wix for my website and Notion, and really looking at all of how these aspects can integrate. I have to get the process right, because when it picks up, I need to have something I can fall back on, because I do have a neurodivergent brain, and I do have to have a lot more recovery time than other people. And I can't go balls to the walls like other people do without falling apart. I have to build the structure now. And that's why I didn't have any clients yesterday. And I came to a place of peace with it. But yesterday, I was not in a place of peace. And so this morning, when I was sitting on the porch, I was starting to worry about it a little bit. I was like, I know that the universe will provide. It's been proven over and over and over again. I know my guides are giving me the space to write on my book. I still need to find my Apple Pencil. I have to spend some time this morning looking for it. Last time I saw it, it was in my bag going to California, but I do also remember telling myself I shouldn't need it, so I should leave it behind so I don't lose it, but I can't remember what I did with it. Anyway, the long and the short of this is, this card, Medicine of the Butterfly Kachina, is where I had come to in my own mind before I even pulled the card, is that sometimes it feels like things are going backwards, or that you're not moving forward as fast as you think you need to, because you have to allow the divine feminine, you have to allow Father Sky and Mother Earth and the divine entities that are helping you with your blueprint. You have to allow them to help you. Coming to your place of peace every morning, every day, spending time with your place of peace, whether that be journaling, sitting outside on the porch with a cup of coffee, whatever it is, or you're disconnected from the internet and maybe you've got a book of quotes you like, or whatever it is, finding that place of peace, deep breathing. I have my cup of tea. This is my second cup. I have a cup of tea. I do my deep breathing. I haven't done my tuning forks yet, but I do those, usually right around daily devotional. Find your place of peace and allow your guides that moment in your life to help you connect to the divine, so that you can be in a place where, as things come at you, right, that you can understand the message and you can breathe through it. Next week, oh my goodness, next week's calendar is so full. And that was where I came to this morning. Before I even pulled this card, it's so funny. Like, I already knew that Great Spirit at work behind all things at all times, always reaching out to give us an offering of love. The soul needs faith and hope like a body needs air to breathe. Faith keeps the soul alive and well. I know that my faith is, to me, one of those words that is a big, bold word that has cascading vibrational meaning. Faith is how you make your cup of tea in the morning. Faith is how you brush your teeth. Faith is how you put your shoes on, how you get dressed, how you open your eyes and you look at this beautiful world with love and hope and compassion. Faith is everything you do. It's not a word that is on a page or a card. Faith is who you are and what you do in your world. Love is who you are, your spiritual being. Faith is how you enact that in every breathing moment of your life. And when you find your place of peace every morning, every day, every night, whatever time you do it, when you find that place of peace, you trigger that word faith. And that grows like a plant within you. It helps you grow. It revitalizes the loving soul and spirit that you are. And yeah, yesterday I kind of got wrapped up in my own whirly bits. But this morning, I allowed that place of peace. I allowed my guides to remind me. I allowed Mother Earth to revitalize me. I allowed Father Sky and the sunlight to charge that battery first thing in the morning. And I allowed myself to recognize that I need this time. This week, I need this rest time. I need time to do my embroidery and futz around with Notion and work on this other stuff, because next week I hardly have 2 hours in any, well, I've got one day that I've got like a rest day. My week is busy and I'm traveling next weekend. So I have to have a plan, because if I don't have a plan, the week after is going to be awful. And next weekend is Samhain Eve, and I'm going to be traveling on Samhain Eve before Samhain. And Halloween, Samhain, that is a very important day for me. It is an important, well, the way I have traditionally celebrated Samhain is it's a 3-day before and 3-day after, traditionally, how I've done it. And there have been years that I've only been able to do 1 day before and 1 day after, and some days it's only day of. That's okay. But I will tell you that this year, I'm going to be traveling. And so I'm not going to be able to do as much as I would like to. But yet I'm going to be doing an amazing thing. So it's awesome. The kicker is that all of us have the ability to revitalize and reconnect and use the medicine of the butterfly Kachina. On wings of hope, butterfly Kachina guides you through an ending to the light of a new life within. It is your transition into a happier time of increased pleasure and delight. Especially if you have experienced great struggle or loss, the spirit of butterfly brings hopeful promise to your heart. Here is your sign that there will be happiness, peace, and light. Trust in the goodness being birthed. The birthing process, the transformational process, takes time, and there's pain, and there's angst, and there's hurt. I've said it before, guys. Life's hard. Lessons are hard. Being human is hard. And that's okay. Sometimes it's awful. My new favorite word. It's awful. And I say new favorite word, it's awful, in the sense that it's awful now, but it's transformational and it's temporary. And I can breathe through it, and I have my place of peace, and I have my guides, and I have purpose. And that purpose is not for me. It's about everybody else. You know, there are life themes and life journeys that the journey is about the person. Most people it is. Most people it's about them, in the sense that they are growing spiritual individuals and they're here to grow for themselves. And then there are those that their entire life blueprint is written about other people, the sacrifice and the purpose of helping others. And then blended into the middle of that is all of us here to help each other. We're here to help each other, guys. None of us are in a vacuum. We're all here to grow together. Have a beautiful day. Have a blessed day. It's Friday, so I won't see you again till Monday. Have a blessed day. And I'm going to post this on YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe. Please share this with your friends. Everybody needs that Kachina, that butterfly Kachina in their life. Share this with them. Give them a blessing of your heart and your love as I give my blessings to you in this day. Have a blessed day. Blessed be, and I'll see you Monday in prayer.